conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this regular meeting of the Vader City Council. It is 6:02 p.m. on Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024. Roll call.
Mayor Joe Shai.
Here.
Sheila Goff.
Here.
Jason Daly.
Jason Daly.
Here.
Randy Hall.
Here.
Mike Parsons.
Here.
Michael Ferguson.
Here.
Well, everyone is accounted for. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mayor's report. The Kessel Court subdivision, the planning committee held their public hearing and didn't receive any comments, and they did recommend it to the city council for your consideration. So that'll be on June 5th, our next meeting for council to take a look at. A little bit of paperwork with commerce and whatnot to get done first before you guys get a chance to give it your yay or nay. Hendrickson subdivision. We had an additional planner conference last week with the developer and our city planner. They're close to planning committee review as well, so that's good news. So they're making good headway on that one. And then most recent, the Solo Hill subdivision, which is the one in the logged off property at the top of the hill from a few years back. They had their initial pre-conference this week with the engineer and planner, and they hope to get all their paperwork done this year with planning committee and city council and all that, and hopefully start construction early next year. Alpine Court lift station removal and outfall upgrades. So Ecology is reviewing the engineering report right now. So we're waiting on the state. 6-year transportation improvement plan for 2025 and 2030. We need to have a public hearing for that. Obviously in the city business, we're going to talk about rescheduling the June 19th meeting to June 18th. So hopefully we'll be able to have that public hearing on the 18th if council decides to have the meeting on the 18th. Lewis County Waterline Replacement Project. They closed bidding on May 16th last week. They have a presumed contractor out of Puyallup that they still need to approve, but after that happens, we should start seeing that project start here in town soon. Lewis County PUD fiber optic internet project. Obviously there's construction going on here in town already. We've been waiting quite a while for this. At our next meeting on June 5th, Willie Painter from Lewis County PUD will be here or online to give us an update on that project. Circus on May 30th, the Lions Club fundraiser. Get your tickets now. And 4th of July fireworks, the city show. We'll be starting around 10 o'clock again, and they're estimating it to be about a 30-minute show this year. So pretty fun. Also, one addition, one of the scouts from Troop 324 for their Eagle project, they're interested in doing restoration work on the Welcome to Vader signs on both coming in and out of town. And so we've given him preliminary authorization to start working on that. So if anyone sees the signs disappear, don't freak out. They're getting worked on.
Nice.
Council reports. One more thing. Number 11, I guess it would be. For quite a while, the city's been talking about getting water at McMurphy Park, and there was lots of information, worry that the line had been stagnant for so long, it was no longer, it would need to get replaced and everything. Dan Anderson with the water, he went out, he purged it, did pressure tests, they did safety checks on it, and everything checks out. And so they've got that turned on again all the way out to the blow off that's out by the park. And so they're going to keep the maintenance up on that. So whenever the city's ready, we could apply for a water connection at the park. So it's all good news. Nice. Council reports. Any members of the council have anything to report?
I just want to know that the guys that are accessing the fire hydrant by your house, filling the tank, are they paying for that water or how's that work?
The fire hydrant by the house? I'm sorry, I didn't understand everything.
Fire hydrant by your house.
Yeah.
They're filling up the water tank, what's that?
Who's filling the water tank?
People down on, working on Windows East Street.
You're paying more attention to my
The
house than I am.
construction workers were,
Mhm.
so Lewis County, they're contractors for Lewis
Yeah,
County.
it was those guys.
So they were using that to fill their water truck.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I don't know why they didn't use the one.
I guess it's still water, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw a county water truck coming into town this morning, so,
They use it 2 or 3 times.
yeah.
they use it.
It is
to-
good practice to run water through those hydrants when they sit stagnant and make sure that the valves get cycled and lubricated. Something that doesn't happen often enough. And so it's actually good that they pulled a couple hundred gallons of water out of there, however, whatever they used it for.
Yeah.
Like when I was on the when I was on the volunteer fire department, we would go around town and flush them every year and lubricate the caps. Just make sure everything flows right when you need it, you know.
Didn't we get a notice in our water bill recently that they were gonna be doing the annual fire hydrant flushing or line
I do.
flushing?
I do recall seeing that, Mayor.
So maybe, yeah, maybe they're doing that, and maybe instead of just,
I seen them doing that. I seen them doing that last week.
okay, so maybe they're collecting the water instead of just throwing it on the ground. Okay, any other council reports?
The circus is coming to town.
Circus coming to town. All right, agenda approval. I do have one request for the agenda that we remove item number 7 for the special event insurance for the 4th of July event. There's been a couple of things we need to update on that. And so we can wait to the next meeting for that.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda for city council meeting on May 22nd, 2024 with the exclusion of number 7.
A motion by Mr. Parsons to approve the agenda with the removal of number 7. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Ferguson. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Any opposed? Motion carries. It was unanimous. Minutes approval.
I'll make a motion that we approve the city council meeting minutes for May 8th, 2024.
We have a motion by Mr. Parsons to approve the minutes from May 8th, 2024. Do you have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Hall. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 The ayes have it. Motion carries. Voucher approval.
I'll make a motion that we approve the vouchers for the end of May 2024 at $30,075.71 for a May total 2024 of $69,941.07.
We have a motion by Mr. Parsons to approve the vouchers as written. For those of you folks online looking at the voucher numbers, this was the outdated agenda. My apologies. The council members have the correct agenda in front of them.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing- Say that?
Today?
Yeah, wasn't that Jason?
No.
Who seconded it?
What?
My apologies.
Mike did.
Was
Ferguson.
that Jason? Ferguson seconded it. Okay. Thanks, Randy.
Oh, the date is here.
Any discussion on the vouchers? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We got more ayes than people.
I said it twice.
That's all right. All right, moving on to public comment. Any members of the public have any comment tonight?
Yeah, Joe, you and I talked here a couple of weeks ago about the city council looking at reopening the discussion and stuff for, I think what you call the cottage, where people could have a designated room that had retail out of their houses.
Mhm.
I'd like to see the city start doing that
Okay.
again.
Yeah, I haven't done anything on that since we talked, but I remember you mentioning it. And I think at least probably a majority of the council was involved back during those original conversations. And I don't think anyone was necessarily opposed to it. It just didn't get a lot of traction.
But from my understanding, it was the parameters of how big their sign could be, what hours it could be, what days it could be open. But it's something I think that the city could really use.
All right, thank you. That was John Hurt that was giving that public comment. Any other public comment? Okay, moving on to item number 1, city business. Council to discuss rescheduling of the June 19th regular city council meeting to June 18th, which would be a Tuesday. So as you know, June 19th is a holiday, one of the new city holidays. And so that's a council night, that's a Wednesday night. And so the thought would be, would council be willing to move the meeting to Tuesday night on June 18th?
I'm good with it.
All right, Sheila says yes. Anyone else?
Do we need a motion?
Mike Parsons. Anyone else have issues with a Tuesday night on June 18th?
I don't.
Nope.
No? Okay. Yeah, sure, let's do the motion vote.
I'll make a motion that we move June 19th June 19th meeting to June 18th.
A motion by Mr. Parsons to move June 18th or 19th meeting to June 18th on Tuesday. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hall. Any other discussion?
Do we get a paid day off on Wednesday?
You? Them. They do, yeah.
I was talking about me and Jason and Mike.
The city staff. No, everybody but us. Yeah, it's a work day for me too.
All right.
You give Lisa a hard time about it next time you see her. She loves that.
I like it. I'm sorry, I forgot clerk day or whatever we just had. I just seen it. I seen it on social media and I was like, oh man, I forgot our clerks.
That's all right.
Anyway,
We
you'll be appreciated on the 19th.
I'll do that for you, Lisa.
All right then. There's no other discussion. All those in favor of moving June 19th meeting to June 18th, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. I like the long eye. That was good. All right, council to discuss the draft parking ordinance and give guidance to staff. So I sent that out to all of you a week back. In the current city code, there's really nothing that keeps people from parking anywhere they want without the city being able to stop them from doing it, which is not the way we should operate. And so this is a pretty basic parking code. I have asked the attorney to add a few things based on Mr. Rubin's advice. One of the things I've asked for, and this wasn't actually his advice, was that the attorney reviews Lewis County's code and see if we can be in line with them, which would help the sheriff's department be aware of the various parking regulations, because they already know the county code. And then also some of the things that were lacking in there were follow-up. So if people don't pay the fine, what happens? At what point do we get to tow somebody? And so that's some of the more clear verbiage we've asked for them to add in there. So hopefully that will be available for the next council meeting. Seems like for the short term, one of the main things that caused this to be a concern downtown, that issue seems to have resolved itself on its own. So it's good. But we still need to have these codes. Any other guidance from council or suggestions?
I have a few
Yeah.
opinions. I don't think the core parking downtown should be the same rules as the residential people. I don't think the 24-hour in the right of way is good for any of us that they can be towed. I think that should be a longer period, and I'm not saying weeks, I'm just saying a few days. Most people take care of their right of ways, and there are people that do have motorhomes parked there. And you were saying you're going to give leniency to some of them. Well, if we make a rule, it should be for everyone, not just, certain people. And that's about all I got to say.
Yeah, and that information, the stuff in there about the 24 hours for RVs, that was volunteered by the attorneys. Because a lot of the rules coming from the state regarding RV living and people parked on right-of-ways and stuff, you can't, from my understanding, you can't outright forbid it, you can restrict it, which is where the 24 hours came from. So the idea is that the mobile home, the RV must still at least be able to move from location to location. So it's not like they could take an RV and park it someplace and then have it break down and remove it again. So that's where the 24-hour rule came from.
So if someone came to someone's house and spent a couple nights in their motorhome and they were parked in front of your house, they're going to get.
Potentially you could, yeah, if it was causing a problem, if they were causing some type of safety issue or something, the city could.
And so does that include?
Could cite them or ask them to move.
Does that include semis with sleepers in them then? Because that anything you can sleep in, so that would be a ton of people.
Yeah, it would be anything in the right of way that's causing a problem.
So as long as somebody is parked there and not causing a problem, then they're not going to get a ticket?
Well, that's kind of the way it is with all of the code enforcement, right? I mean, I think.
It's complaint driven, right?
Right. I mean, we haven't been proactive. I don't know how you say it. The city hasn't ever really been proactive to go looking for issues, right? If it's an obvious safety issue or there's complaints, then we usually follow up on it. But we don't have anyone driving around
looking,
measuring the height of grass and saying, too high, too high, too high, too high. This is for an example. So it's one of the things the attorney told me a long time ago was that a city doesn't have to enforce all of its codes all of the time. Obviously, you don't want to play favorites.
But you also want them there if somebody comes and parks in front of your house.
right, and wants to live there and you can't get them out.
Yeah.
I get that.
Or if they're, let's say they're parked too close to a corner, right? And people can't see around the corner when they try to make the judgment whether they can pull out or not into the main road. That could be a safety issue, and we want to have the authority to be able to ask them to move.
And people parking you know, in front of their houses and stuff, and they're an abandoned vehicle, they don't move.
So, okay, I'll follow up on those and see what we can do. Any other suggestions or comments for now? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's beneficial to follow our attorney's guidance when it comes to a lot of these things. You know, she has the wherewithal and the forward thinking of, what the state guidelines are as far as residency and things like that. So, letting people park their RVs could cause a problem where I don't think, when, cousin Vinny comes from out of town to stay the weekend for the holiday, I don't think nobody's going to complain about that unless they are, blocking traffic or, emptying their septic into the gutter or something like that,
That's cousin Eddie.
Well, whatever. I was just making up a name for
Yeah, much
for
come.
for story's sake. You got the point though, right?
Vinny, I like Vinny.
You like Vinny?
Yeah.
All right. All right, well, great.
Forget about it.
All right. Thank you. Moving on to item number 3, council to discuss LeMay's disposal fee increase per Lewis County Solid Waste Disposal District number 1 in BOCC. So this is another one of those things we really can't do a lot about, but you should be aware of it. So all of the
Jeff's price go up every year?
So whenever the transfer station increased their tipping fees, his fees would need to go up as well to compensate for it. So anyone that collects trash has to take it to the county transfer station, and then they get billed at whatever the tipping fee is. And so if the county starts charging more to take waste, then those costs come back to the consumer. So
I was just there yesterday, and they gave me a notice of rate increases July 1st or June
So
31st.
another $20. Mike, isn't it $90 a ton now?
It's gonna go up. I think he said to 120 a ton, which is still cheap, like a lot cheaper than Cowlitz County.
What?
I'll tell you that. So, I mean, as someone that takes lots of like construction debris and stuff to, we try to recycle everything we can, but there's a lot of debris when you construct a house, and Lewis County actually has the most reasonable rates. Not that makes it any better that our bills go up,
Confusion on my face, but we'll talk later on that. I do like how they said this fee is a pass-through expense from the county to the customer and is not a price increase from our service fees.
It's all in
it's not me wording. Good golly.
So it's just more of an FYI than anything else, but just for council to be aware, and that if anyone in the community asks you, oh, why my garbage rates go up, you can blame it on the county.
County, state, federal.
But I'm sure that the reason their fees went up is because wherever they take the trash to,
Fuel costs.
they're paying for it.
We don't. Yeah, where does it go? It's got to go to a landfill somewhere, right? And if diesel prices go up and that, the cost of labor and everything, then, I mean, it always affects the bottom line. Everything, every little drop of rain fills the bucket up.
Any other discussion on this? Follow up? No? All right. Item number 4, council to consider resolution 07-2024, planning committee appointment of Tom Priest. So as you know, our planning and parks board, there are term limits for those, and they are 3 years. Tom was just appointed last year, but he was fulfilling the remainder of an unexpired term. And so thank you to Tom for that. And he is interested in staying on the planning committee for another full term.
I make a motion that we approve resolution 07-2024, planning committee appointment of Tom Priest.
We have a motion by Mr. Parsons to approve the reappointment of Tom Priest. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Hall. Any discussion?
How come we don't put it out for everyone? It's because he's so new that you're just, I realize no one probably even applies, but it just seems like.
Well, it's true. Actually, that's a good point. When that position was vacant, I think we just appointed Tom in November or December. I mean, it was very recent. Those positions were vacant for a very long time. And
Isn't there still vacancies?
there are not any vacancies.
Oh, they're not.
No, both boards are full. Generally, unless, I mean, I've only been doing this for a handful of years now, but unless the folks that are on the board are asking not to be reappointed, we haven't gone seeking for new folks.
And there's not a limit.
There's not a number of terms that someone could, but there has been times in the past where the mayor has sought new folks instead of asking council to reappoint. But not this time.
Not this time.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of resolution 07-2024, reappointing Tom Priest to the planning committee, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item number 5, council to consider resolution 08-2024, Parks Board appointment of Daryl Crago. So similarly, Daryl, his term was expiring at the end of May, and so he has also agreed to stay on the Parks Board. He's been an active member and helping out with various recycling events and down at McMurphy Park with the warden.
Yep.
So,
I'd like to motion that we approve the appointment of Daryl Crago as the Parks Board applicant for, well, wait, hang on. Resolution. Wait, hang on. Resolution 08-2024, Parks Board appointment, Daryl Crago. Sorry, I'm filling out another application while I'm doing this.
that's great. That's what I like to hear. We have a motion by Mr. Ferguson to approve resolution 08-2024, reappointing Daryl Crago to the Parks Board. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Ooh. Give it to Jason. Seconded by Mr. Daly. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Number 6, council to consider ordinance 2024-04, amending Vader Municipal Code to establish an 8% interest rate on sewer liens and 12-month unrecorded sewer lien for delinquent charges. So if you remember, not too terribly long ago, we had an update from the attorney regarding collections for sewer utilities and whatnot. And so this is one of the things that came out of it, was that the city can charge interest on those unpaid bills. And so.
And 8% is as high as we can go?
That's the state, yeah, the state regulates it. How high would you go? How high would you go?
Well, interest rates are saying, that's a good mortgage.
That's a good rate. So are you saying it's cheaper to not pay your bill and invest the money than it is to, is that what you're saying? No.
Golly. I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2024-04,
We have a motion by Mr. Parsons to approve ordinance 2024-04. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Ferguson. More discussion?
I
If we
think
have-
that even if we apply penalties, I think that's kind of a lost thing, but it's good to have a penalty. Maybe it'll draw attention.
Well, we need receivership of the water back, then we'd have control over the sewer.
The good news is our collections company
Absolutely.
has been doing a great job, and we've been getting money from folks that haven't paid for years. And so that's working out in our favor. Any
That's
other
great.
discussion on? Hearing none, all those in favor of ordinance 2024-04, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. And we removed item number 7 for the next council meeting. So, elected official comments.
Sorry, I was unable to attend. I'm filling out this application for contractor recognition or something. So
Okay.
I appreciate
Hey,
being able to log in while we're working.
Same here. Hey, Joe, I was curious if we have to ask the state for a litter cleanup on Highway 506, or is that something that is done on a routinely basis?
I don't know, but we do have a regional contact with DOT, so we can talk to them about how that works.
Okay. That would be great.
Okay. Any other council comments? Okay. This meeting is adjourned at 6:34 p.m.